Jake Paul has shut down the idea of facing former WBC middleweight champion Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. for a WBA title, dismissing the proposed bout as neither challenging nor meaningful. Despite the WBA president, Gilberto Mendoza, reportedly floating the idea earlier this year and Chavez Jr. claiming he had received an offer after Paul's controversial clash with Mike Tyson, the problem child made it clear that he's aiming higher. "I want someone tougher than Chavez and I want a real belt, not just something that gets put up for entertainment value," Paul stated. "It's great and all, but honestly, he's easy work, and I want someone tougher to shut people up." Chavez Jr., son of the legendary Julio Cesar Chavez Sr., once held the WBC middleweight title between 2011 and 2012. However, his career trajectory took a downward turn after a lopsided defeat to Sergio Martinez, followed by an even more dominant loss to Canelo Alvarez in 2017. The 38-year-old now finds himself fighting in crossover bouts against aging MMA fighters, most notably losing to Anderson Silva in 2021. Silva would later face Jake Paul in 2022, where Paul secured a clear decision victory, further minimizing Chavez Jr.'s credibility as a legitimate opponent. For Paul, taking on Chavez Jr. would have been viewed as a step back. Though Chavez Jr. carries name recognition, the bout wouldn't advance Paul's goal of being taken seriously as a rising force in boxing. Critics have often accused Paul of padding his record against retired MMA stars or fighters past their prime, but the YouTuber-turned-boxer has consistently insisted he wants credible challenges. Paul's comments reflect his long-term ambitions to become a world champion. While some dismiss the notion as outlandish, Paul remains steadfast. "F the rankings. It's just a number. Who cares?" Paul said. "I know I'm the best in the world and I'm going to be world champion." Paul's manager, Nakisa Bidarian, doubled down on Paul's star power, dismissing conventional boxing rankings in favor of Paul's undeniable influence. "The rankings are, he's the #1 box office draw in boxing. That's why Daniel Dubois is calling him out. That's why Artur Beterbiev is calling him out. That's why Gervonta Davis is calling him out. That's why Ryan Garcia is calling him out." While Bidarian's remarks may sound exaggerated, they highlight a reality that traditional boxing cannot ignore. Jake Paul's fights generate massive viewership and attention. From PPV buys to social media engagement, Paul has become a polarizing yet dominant force in the boxing world. Paul's decision to reject Chavez Jr. underscores his growing confidence and strategic planning. Following his loss to Tommy Fury earlier this year, Paul has made clear that he is determined to improve and prove himself. The Fury fight was seen as Paul's first true test against a professional boxer, and though he came up short, he displayed enough resilience and ability to suggest he's serious about evolving as a fighter. Turning down an aging Chavez Jr. signals that Paul is not interested in easy victories or empty accolades. Instead, he's looking for opponents who will challenge him and help silence the ongoing narrative that he's not a legitimate contender. Chavez Jr., despite his past accomplishments, is no longer the fighter he once was. His inconsistencies, coupled with his losses to opponents like Silva, have damaged his reputation. While a bout with Paul may have generated intrigue purely based on name value, it would have done little to advance Paul's credibility in the sport. Paul's ultimate goal to hold a world championship belt may seem ambitious to skeptics, but he continues to defy expectations. His growing confidence, work ethic, and willingness to turn down easy opportunities demonstrate that he's serious about his aspirations. At just 27 years old, Paul has time on his side, and each fight offers him a chance to grow, learn, and inch closer to proving his doubters wrong. For now, Jake Paul remains one of boxing's most talked about figures. His commercial dominance and ability to generate headlines are unmatched, and his insistence on facing tougher opposition shows that he's committed to taking his career to the next level. While the idea of him becoming a world champion may seem far-fetched to some, Paul's decision to reject Chavez Jr. proves that he's not looking for shortcuts, he's looking for real challenges. With each step, Paul continues to reshape the boxing landscape, blending entertainment with ambition and forcing the sport to take notice. Whether or not he reaches his ultimate goal remains to be seen, but one thing is certain: Jake Paul isn't going anywhere.